We've got a lot of keyboards here at Syntaur. Some are for sale, some are going to be disassembled for parts, some are going to be refurbished. And even though we don't have a lot of extra space, we've got a good opportunity to pick up several dozen more keyboards at great prices. And it's an opportunity I can't pass up. So Cody and I are about to take a 3,600-mile journey to round these up, making pickups in Kentucky, Connecticut, and New York City. The boards we're getting are all broken in some way, so we'll at least get a lot of parts from them. But we're also getting some vintage Roland Juno 106s, and if we can refurbish those, they're just the sorts of keyboards my customers want. Here at Syntaur, we live to bring old synthesizers back to life. We find vintage keyboards wherever we can, and our crew restores them back to their original splendor. We also supply parts to tens of thousands of customers all around the world so that they can restore and repair their own keyboards. At our shop in Texas, we have on hand parts for the synths used by pros from the 1960s all the way to today's brand new keyboards. Our inside and out knowledge has made us known as the Synth Wizards.
No, I don't think that's going to work.
We ain't got no more damn room for nothing around here.
We'll probably have to take this out.
Tell him to drop him off at the dump on the way home.
Gerald and I have been good friends since the mid-70s, so all the way back to the first days of commercially available synthesizers. Gerald's the one responsible for parting out keyboards here at Syntaur, and he does most of the work on the ones we refurbish. So bringing in 40 keyboards at once is going to be a little overwhelming. But after he bitches and moans a little while, he's going to get to work. And one thing about Gerald is he always gets the job done, no matter what. So even if we don't have the room or the time for that many keyboards, he'll make it all work somehow.
I ain't got no room for nothing. Tell him to put them where the sun don't shine.
We are just leaving on our trip to gather about 40 keyboards to use for parts and to resurrect and rebuild. We're leaving from New Braunfels, Texas, going up all the way to Connecticut, back down the East Coast, about 10 days long. We'll see if we make it. I've always thought it'd be cool to go on a road trip with Cody, and so this seemed like the perfect opportunity for a father-son adventure across the country. Only problem was that Cody wasn't quite as excited about driving 3,600 miles in a van, spending 10 days of his summer, so he needed a little extra impetus, and that's when Radiohead kicked in. Radiohead tours with a number of vintage keyboards, and when they contacted us for some hard-to-find parts, I immediately had a sneaky idea. Cody had mentioned that he wanted to see them in concert, and they were going to be in New York City the same time we were. Cody had also mentioned several times that a 10-day, 3,600-mile trip in a cargo van was not his idea of a good time. So I'm thinking if we could get concert tickets for Madison Square Garden, maybe that would sway him. So I asked Radiohead's keyboard tech, Russ, if he could help me out, and he came through for us. That did the trick, and Cody was on board for the trip.
There it is. Despite it being 2 a.m., we just checked in Little Rock. Our current keyboard count is 0. And the room in the hotel in general could be described as a 1 to 2 star establishment. It's been a day.
After driving all day to Little Rock, we have another all-day drive to get to Knoxville, our first keyboard stop. It's a beautiful drive across Tennessee, and after spending the night, we're going to meet Matt the next morning to take some broken keyboards off his hands. 2 solid days of driving to get 6 keyboards is a slow start, but Knoxville is right on the way to our other destinations. And hey, we're dedicated. I don't think so.
Oh my gosh. This is what all the reviews were talking about.
Did you get someone else's room without it being clean? reckon let's go check at the front desk again. Oh yeah, it's looking much better.
So here we are. 0 down, 40 to go.
I'm not sure how to get there yet. Hopefully we will. And then after we pick up these keyboards, we're going to head to Asheville, North Carolina, and visit Lobbymusic. That'll be a fun thing.
They're all on that all the shelves right there.
All right.
I just picked up that rolling too. I don't know if
Boy, these digital pianos are so big.
yeah.
Our challenge is going to be that we have about 40 keyboards to pick up on this trip.
Uh-huh.
We're going to lay these down in the van, and then we're going to build a floor over them and try to put
Okay.
stuff on it. Packing dozens of keyboards into a van is going to require a lot of stacking, so my idea is to put down a first layer of keyboards and then build a wood floor over them. So I brought along a circular saw, some old lumber, and some plywood remnants that will fit together as we go. Leave it like that for now. We're gonna go get some more screws, tighten all that up, and to Lobbymusic. It's not too far out of our way to get to Asheville, North Carolina, and it's worth it for the scenic drive alone. But the real treat is an instrument company residing in a historic building in downtown Asheville. Parking. Don't have any change. What a dime. What I found on the floorboard. We can go into Moog for 5 minutes on this dime.
Oh my goodness.
Moog Music is a great place for a synth geek to visit. Cody got intimate with a mini Moog Voyager, and I bludgeoned through the intro to Good Vibrations on a theremin.
I'm doing a little Beach Boys there.
Then we got a rare behind-the-scenes treat. We got to see Mini Moog Model Ds being built for the first time in decades. The Mini Moog is the keyboard that revolutionized the industry. It was the first synthesizer ever to be sold in music stores back in 1971, and it's a monster. It was discontinued in 1982, skyrocketed in price and collectability, and is now being manufactured again in very limited quantities. Likewise, the amazing Moog 55 modular systems are being built again, and only 55 of these are being made, all by hand, and selling for $35,000 each. These amazing systems, made popular by Keith Emerson, first came out in 1964. It was a real treat seeing these historic instruments being made again.
We're at Cracker Barrel for the third night in a row. I don't remember town we're in. But here we are.
We got this Suzuki keyboard from our guy in Knoxville. It doesn't work, it doesn't come on, so I brought it into the hotel room, and if we can determine that it's, make some kind of determination, maybe I can just take it apart, keep the parts we need, make a lot more room in the van, or at least have room in the van for one more keyboard. This large Suzuki digital piano will definitely go through the Syntaur chop shop so that we can put the parts into stock. And while I didn't bring along the tools to diagnose what's wrong with it, I did bring enough to take it apart, and that will free up some critical space in the Synthmobile. The keyboard doesn't come on at all, so I suspect it has a power supply issue, but we'll let Gerald figure that out back in the shop. I'm going to gut this thing, removing the circuit boards and key bed from the cabinet, and then we can plug everything back together later for testing. The guts take up much less space in the van, and the large plastic cabinet, well, we gifted that to the hotel. While it's fun and rewarding restoring a vintage synthesizer, most of our business at Syntaur is selling parts so that other folks can restore and repair their own keyboards. Most of what we collect on this trip will be parted out and put into inventory, and Gerald is the first link in that chain.
This is where we bring all our keyboards. We do all the repair work here, or restore a lot of the modes and the vintage keyboards and stuff. And then the stuff that we just turn into parts, we take them all apart.
Once Gerald has a keyboard disassembled, I'll go through it all to identify any parts that we already have available, and I'll make sure that our website lists those parts when you look up that specific model of keyboard. Parts that we don't have listed then move to the next step in the process.
Hi, my name's Cliff. I'm the product developer here at Syntaur. Basically, my job consists of taking the parts that come my way from Gerald, cataloging them on the website, taking pictures, making sure they look nice, and getting them up on the shelf so we can sell them to you.
We keep thousands and thousands of synthesizer parts in stock, and Eddie's in charge of getting them to the keyboard players who need them.
My name is Eddie Bettis, and I am the one that's responsible for getting all the orders out on a daily basis, usually about 60 to 80 packages a day, all over the world. Anywhere you can think of, we'll get it to you.
Well, we just left wherever we were at, and we're going to the next place.
Merge onto New Jersey 495 West.
Second stop, Bell Audio Lab in Connecticut, where we load up another layer of broken keyboards into the Synthmobile. All right, stacking them up in the van. That's 2 loads, and now the real big load happens. We gotta put it all on top of this. And then it's on to Manhattan, where we'll do some dealing with our friends at Lobbymusic. All right, let's head to Manhattan. Lobbymusic is right in the hustle and bustle of Manhattan, and getting the Synthmobile parked close to the door will be a challenge. But maybe we'll get lucky. As it turns out, a truck was pulling out just as we arrived, and we got the perfect loading spot. And Clay and his crew have all of the keyboards right at the door for us, ready to go.
From Syntaur, we're here to pick up all of this. Fantastic. Be glad to see you go.
Hey, Sam.
Hey, Clay. How you doing?
What's up, my friend?
Oh,
Sam Jr. Is that you right there?
Smoking. Yeah.
Oh, so look at the stuff first, and then we'll start loading it. I got the Juno 106s that we owe you here.
Okay, good.
There's like 4, 2, 4. Some of these are really close to work.
We'll load the biggest, heaviest boards first, then stack more on top using packing blankets and cardboard boxes as cushioning between them. Most of the keyboards we're getting are digital keyboards from the last couple of decades, but we're getting some interesting older synths too. In addition to the Juno 106s, we end up with most of a Roland JX8P and a rare Hohner Bass 3 keyboard from the 70s.
Well, we got the keyboards.
I got the keyboards. How to get them home. We've made 2 stops today and filled up the Synthmobile. But there's one more thing on today's itinerary, the Radiohead concert. We're driving the van back to the hotel in New Jersey, then we'll take a train back to Penn Station where we can just walk up the steps and right into Madison Square Garden. The sold-out Radiohead concert is fabulous, and we also have passes to the after-party where we get to thank our host in person. It's been an intense day, and now it's time to start the long trip home. We're heading south now, and after dealing with an issue back at the office, I finally get Cody into the driver's seat.
Well, folks, you're witnessing the final moments of our lives. Ben's making me drive this van with horrible pedals, and the steering doesn't really work, and I don't know why. I've been doing it for like 3 hours now, so I'm getting pretty fatigued, but it's making me still drive. And, what can I say? We're on the brink of death.
Much like in Dr. Strangelove.
One very long day of driving takes us to Charlotte, North Carolina, and the next day is even longer to get us to Baton Rouge. We'll spend an extra day there to work with Ray, our website programmer, and then it's back home to Texas. Back at Syntaur headquarters, it's time to make some sense of what we brought home and find places to put it all. So 6 of these are Juno 106s.
So they can go in the garbage just like any other.
So those are ones we can refurbish.
Where the hell you gonna put all them?
We're stacking what we can in the repair room, and we're shoving the rest into the garage. We're putting the squeeze on Gerald. If he wants room to work, he's going to have to dismantle some of these quickly. But that's what he does best. That Suzuki keyboard we disassembled in the hotel room? Gerald put the pieces together on the workbench, and like I suspected, the power supply had blown fuses and a bad voltage regulator. After a bit of repair, it's making sound again. And now that we know that the parts are good, we can start adding them to inventory.
So that's going for sale, right?
You want to buy it?
I'll give you $20.
With the Synthmobile unloaded, it's time to take stock of what we've got. Here's the Roland JX8P we got on our trip to New York. And you can see it needs a little TLC, but we're going to get to work on it and see if we can refurbish this one. The Roland JX8P was made in the mid-'80s and is one of the most inexpensive analog polysynths you can pick up these days. The JX8P is a great analog polysynth, and one of the best things about it is it's cheap. You can get one of these for just a few $100s these days. And it's got, it's got analog guts. One thing it doesn't have is a lot of front panel controls. You just basically have presets here, so you don't have a filter slider or a knob that you can grab and tweak as you go. So that's one of its downsides. but it is fully programmable. It has these presets, but you can write your own programs to it. So it's good in that regard. And the main thing is it sounds good. It's got some great sync sounds. How about this one? Really fat analog sync sound there. And it does analog brass kind of sounds really well and sounds really warm. I love that one. So again, it's a really nice entry-level synth if you're just getting into analog synthesizers and you want a polyphonic synth. You could pick up a JX8P for just a few $100s and be right there in the club. So we got one of these from New York that needs some refurbishing. It'll be a good one to put back together and get sounding right again. Here's another keyboard we picked up on our trip. This little boy is called a Hohner Bass 3 keyboard. And as the name implies, it's for doing bass sounds. It's kind of a one-trick pony, or maybe a three-trick pony, because it has 3 presets: guitar, strings, tuba. If you need any of those bass sounds, you're in business. It's kind of a quirky and fun little keyboard. Might be an unusual thing to add to a synth collection. It is analog, and so it'd be a nice thing to have. And it was used on some recent tracks. For instance, Danger Mouse used this keyboard on the song Crazy. So this will be a good one to restore, and hopefully we'll have some fun with it. I'm interested the most in that stack of Roland Juno 106s, and we'll soon be digging into those to see if we've got some potential treasures to restore, or if we've just got some piles of parts. We'll pop the hoods on those soon, on the next Synth Wizards.